the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and also co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. And as you know, every week we have on super amazing women. And today we have on the incredible founders of the Passionistas Project, which is a great women's empowerment community that we're going to talk about. I'd like to welcome to the show the incredible sisters, Amy and Nancy Harrington. Hi, girls. How are you?
Hi. Well, that was very nice. Thank you.
And does everybody know your sisters?
No, we always forget to tell people. So there's lots of confusion.
And I was thinking in today's society, Nancy and Amy Harrington, you could be a married couple, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, we get a lot of pauses and then sometimes people figure out after they're with us for a while because we start to sound alike and move alike.
Yes,
and
I can see
it becomes obvious.
Mannerisms are very similar.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool that you all work together. That's super fun. What a great sisterhood. Yeah, that's special.
Yeah, and it's funny you say sisterhood because that's what we're trying to do with the Passionistas Project is bring everyone into our sisterhood. So
I love that.
What we're feeling. We've supported each other our whole lives.
I like that. And, and it is a sisterhood that really creates empowerment, right? We're so much more powerful together than standing on our own. So that's why I love what you're doing with this project. And I love the name. Let's say right up front, who doesn't want to be part of the Passionistas? We all do, right?
Nancy gets credit for that, for sure. Yeah. Nancy came up with that one.
And this started with your Passionistas pop culture, right? Which I'm super excited to talk about that. And then morphed into this community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But before we get into Passionistas, because I know everybody's going to want to know what that is and want to be a part of it, your backgrounds are so interesting. And in film and theater, which are two of my favorite things, and I do believe it's film and television and theater that impacts culture and changes culture. So that's great that that's your background and then you're taking it into this project. So let's talk about your background because it's very impressive. So hopefully I won't get this mixed up. So Amy, you were with Miramax, right? No. You were with Miramax. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were with
Warner Brothers,
vice president of post production on major movies,
and visual effects,
Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's cool that you bring that to the table. That must have been a really exciting career.
It was amazing. I mean, I was a Star Wars baby, so that was like a life-changing moment for me, pop culture-wise, was seeing Star Wars, and then to end up working at Warner Brothers, overseeing post-production and visual effects on 250 movies in different forms, and to be a part of, big franchises like the Harry Potter movies and Batmans and
I told you these are amazing women.
Yeah, I was very, very blessed to have that career.
I'll say, and then you bring that to the table with all your new projects, and then Okay, so I'm still going to get you all mixed up. So
it's confusing.
It really doesn't matter.
Okay, so Nancy, you are the one that worked with Miramax, and you had your own theater company in Boston, right? I mean, you two are incredible. And I love theater. I'm co-producing a show that's opening off Broadway soon.
Oh, yes, I didn't know that.
It's called Millennials Are Killing Musicals.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
And
when does it open?
It's great. It opens in a couple months. I don't want to say because I don't know when this is airing, but there's 3 female leads, which is cool. Pretty much unheard of on Broadway, and 80% of the team behind it are all women and all from Broadway.
I have chills from head to toe.
Award-winning women.
It's posted on all of them.
We have to make a New York trip
after this podcast. We're going to talk about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But people can follow it on Instagram. Millennials Are Killing Musicals, very female driven, about you'll love it. It's ripped right from pop culture.
Can't wait.
Motherhood, social media, the whole,
Beautiful.
It's nothing like it on Broadway. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
So I'm sure it's going to make its way there. My friend Nico Juber is the writer and creator. You probably remember her grandfather was Sherwood Schwartz.
Oh my God.
Yes,
of
Gilligan's
course.
Island.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I have to introduce you all. And Brady
Oh
Bunch.
my God. Yeah.
You all have to meet.
We got to go to the,
Okay,
this is a
but we
total
digress.
tangent. We got to go to the Brady house. We'll talk about that later
Right.
too.
That was amazing.
But then my other passion that we all have in common is film.
Right.
Right. And Show Her the Money is coming out to talk about how underfunded women are. And so I'm excited to talk to you all about your film background.
Right.
So tell me about what you did in the film industry with Miramax. Yeah.
I actually, for like you said, I had my own graphic design business in Boston and a theater company.
Wow.
And then I moved out here to be closer to Amy because I missed her terribly. She was out here for 10 years and I couldn't stand it anymore. And my husband is a composer, which is why we had the theater, because we put on his musicals.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So he wanted to come out here and try to make it in Hollywood. So we're like, okay, let's go. So we got out here and one of us had to be responsible and get a job. So I got a job at an advertising agency that did the Academy Award campaigns for Miramax.
Yes, I read that. That's incredible.
It was the height of Miramax, really. It was Chicago and The Hours and all of those. Like, I think...
Oh my gosh, those are two of my favorites.
In the 3 years that I worked at the company, I think they won like 30 Academy Awards.
Oh, wow. Insane. I want you working on our documentary Academy Awards campaign. Let's talk.
So it was really an amazing experience and really fun, but really stressful.
Right.
Because it was also right at the beginning of the time period where we did mostly newspaper ads and then Variety and Hollywood Reporter. And it was,
the millennials or the Gen Zs are going,
What's a newspaper?
What's a newspaper?
Yeah, exactly.
I was literally in a hotel and I asked for a paper and they go, what? You want a piece of paper? I was like, oh my God, I'm too old.
and it was right when the ads were created on computer as opposed to, I won't even get into what they were done before because no millennial will understand it. But so it was when the ads started to be changed at the very last second before the presses started rolling. So there were many like 2, 3 a.m. nights.
Wow. But what fabulous jobs you both have had.
Totally.
And then you take all that expertise and you start the Passionistas pop culture. I mean, pop culture passionistas. And let's talk about what that is before we get into the community, because I know that was a catalyst. And I just loved it. I went on your website and I just love all the stuff you guys have done and still do. So during that time, you all were doing interviews. You did 1,400 interviews on the red carpets and one-on-ones with, I think everyone from Carol Burnett to Deepak Chopra to Mick Jagger, right?
We produced an interview
have had a fun career.
We've been so lucky. I mean, we worked at a company called Get Back, which was all retro pop culture, and that. While we were there, someone said, we want you to go do an interview tomorrow with the Cassidy brothers. So our very first interview was this blogger event where we interviewed David, Sean, Patrick, and Ryan Cassidy. They were all working on a show together.
And growing up, everyone our age had crushes on them.
Yeah. So once we did that, it was like, okay, this is a blast. That led us to starting to work with the Television Academy, where with the foundation there, so they have an archive of over 1,000 interviews at this point with people in front of and behind the camera. So we do a lot of their research. We've conducted a lot of their interviews. We edit the clips for them. So with them, we have these 3 or 4 hour sit downs with people like Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Danny DeVito and all these amazing people.
Oh my gosh.
And so then we spun that off into our own website where we did interviews from a very positive perspective. We're not gossipy pop culture. We're always very positive. We had another client at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is how we were able to produce the Mick Jagger interview. And we interviewed Ann Wilson from Heart.
I love this. And, people think that everybody wants gossip, but people
I know I'm one of those people. You want the authentic story.
Yeah.
You know, what was their journey? How did they get there? What would they have done if they weren't doing that, right?
Yeah, and the more they trust you and feel comfortable, the more they'll share things that they probably won't share with anybody else because they feel safe. You know?
How could people see those interviews? They go to the Television Academy Foundation site?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the archive has Emmys.com, and then you go to the foundation tab or the interviews tab.
Emmys.com.
And they're amazing. I warn you, you will get sucked in.
Yeah.
It's a rabbit hole, but the interviews are unbelievable. And the interviews with the people behind the scenes tend to be the most interesting. We interviewed the most prolific female stunt person. And
oh my gosh.
So like they're
that.
just
You're
these
right. Those are the
amazing
people you never hear about. You don't know their story. That's fascinating.
And hairdressers and
the
producers and writers. And
and especially if someone wants to do that for a living.
Totally.
Like go hear their stories because no stories are alike, right? They're, and especially in Hollywood, I think, how people made it to be an actor or makeup artist or director, whatever. It's never the same story because there's no defined path of how to get there.
Exactly.
It's one of the most interesting and one of the most frustrating things about Hollywood. There is no clear, you do this, you do this, you do this, you'll be that. Right. There's no such thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it too, because anything really is possible, and these interviews prove that.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I can't wait to look at them.
Yeah.
So then, from there, you all have pivoted into creating this community to empower women. Let's talk about that. And this is all kinds of women, from artists to entrepreneurs, right?
That's
like it runs the gamut. Yeah. Why did you make that transition, and why is that important to you to help empower women?
Well, like Amy said, we had all these skills and we loved doing interviews, and we always did them from a positive perspective. But we just felt like we wanted to do something with a little more impact.
Yeah.
And it was right around the time of the 2016 election and the Me Too campaign and the Time's Up campaign. And we thought, there's all these stories being told that are powerful and important and they need to be heard.
Yeah.
But there's also so many stories of kick-ass women that need to be heard.
Absolutely. And you two are the ones to tell it.
We thought, let's use our skills to tell the stories of these women. So we started a podcast, and that's really where it started. We're just like, let's just do a podcast. That'll be fun. And so we started to do a podcast, and that escalated and snowballed into a Passionistas Project Pack, which is a subscription box with products exclusively from women-owned businesses.
So wait, when you come to the community, you sign up and you purchase the box?
Yes.
Of all women-founded businesses' products. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what kind of products?
Like anything. Like there's almost always a food or beverage in there because that we love that.
Yeah. I have some people you need to talk to.
Yeah.
Good. They're called Planting Hope. These women are creating new products like sesame milk and veggie rice.
Ooh.
Right. And that sounds like it'd be a good product to be in the box. Just saying.
That's perfect.
So we have, makeup, books.
Yeah.
Jewelry.
Jewelry, anything.
Stationery.
We pick a theme, and then we go out and try to find products that fit the theme and put it all together. It's really fun, and it's really amazing. So for the one price, you're supporting 7 or 8 women-owned businesses.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So when you come to the PassionistasProject.com, you can sign up to become part of the community. Yeah. You have an option to purchase this welcome pack. And is that something you can buy over and over?
Honestly, it was a subscription model. We have recently paused the subscription model because it just wasn't working well for us. But we are continuing to sell it as a one-off box.
One-off box.
And,
cool.
So you can subscribe
That's so
to that. Yeah. You can subscribe to it that way, and then you'll get it on an annual basis. So it's a perfect holiday present. It's the perfect, we've been approached about doing corporate boxes, like customized corporate boxes. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing we're starting to do.
Oh, customized. So if somebody works for a big corporation and they want to provide to their clients, let's say, they can buy this box of all female founded products. I love that.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be just purchased for women. You know, we can
Of
tailor
course.
it so that the products are for men as well. We actually have our favorite unboxer as a man. He loves our every month, or every quarter, he unboxes the box and gets really excited. So
Oh, I love
it's good for
that.
everyone.
That's so clever. Now, so you all do the podcast, you do the boxes, and then you do events.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your events.
So yeah, every year we host a women's equality summit called the Power of Passionistas. It's a 3-day event. It's always been virtual up until now. Next year we're going to do our first in-person version of
That's
it.
exciting. When will that be and where?
We are thinking spring here in Los Angeles.
Great.
So we're in the middle of nailing that down. But yeah, it's a 3-day event. It's full of panels, storyteller events with Q&As. In the past, we've hosted the LunaFest Film Festival, and we give the Passionistas Persist Awards every year to women who have followed their passions and inspired other people. So we've given them to Jane Goodall and Margaret Cho and a lot of amazing entrepreneurs and activists who are making a real impact, but not necessarily getting the spotlight the way they deserve to.
Right.
So it's
that would
really
be
great.
pretty much all of them.
Exactly. We have a
Take your
long,
pick.
we have a long list.
Oh, that's great you're doing that. We need more people recognizing people out there that are making such a difference. But like you said, there's really not a platform to, hail that. Yeah. So good for you guys.
Thank you.
And so also, I went on your website and how do people find the podcast?
They can go to the easiest way is to go to the website because it's sort of the portal for everything.
It is.
So the
Yeah,
podcast
in fact-
is there. All
Yeah.
the social media is there.
Yeah. And it is called the Passionistas Project.
Correct.
Right. So if they were going on iTunes or whatever, they'd find it there. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I did go on your website and I listened to the last one. So interesting. I want to talk to you after the show. It was a Reiki master.
Yes.
And I know, which is a healer. And it's so interesting. I just had mentioned to a friend that was having some physical issues, you should really see a healer. And then I go on your, I told my wife, I go on their podcast and it's a healer. I'm like, wow, this is really weird.
That happens a lot on our
Yeah.
podcast. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Maria Dominique Lopez is her name, and she's in Southern California.
Yeah.
So she's amazing.
Yeah, she sounded amazing. And you guys do all kinds of interviews. Like, I think your website said from the tea entrepreneur to, artist. And you have an attorney for the Black Lives Matter. So, lots of, topics that are near and dear to people's hearts. Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to focus on 3 pillars, which is personal growth, social activism, and business development. So you really can, because we feel they go hand in hand.
They do. Yeah.
So a lot of women's groups really only focus on business. And
Right.
we feel like that's not enough. There's more to it. There's more to the story.
Right? It's like what's behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do we keep ourselves healthy mentally and physically to keep up the fight as a group?
Yeah. And what's the purpose of the summit? Like, you're bringing all these amazing women together with great speakers. What do you hope people get from attending that? Is that part? I know you're on a real path to helping create equality, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of our goals with the summit is to bring together women from marginalized communities.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we pick a topic for the panel or the storyteller event, and we bring people from various communities together. So rather than having a Black Lives Matter panel or an LGBTQ panel, we have a panel about the power of transformation. And we bring people from all those communities together. So you hear their different journeys, but also the similarities, because for everyone to come together, it's really important to realize that her story is the same as her story from a different vantage point, but it's the same struggle.
Yeah.
And so often we separate into this group doesn't understand the struggle of this group.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I was on a panel last year that was about the underfunding of women. Mm-hmm. And it was a specific group of people on this panel and then myself, which was outside that group. And I'm like, hey, we're all in this boat together, so we shouldn't be separating ourselves out into, and I feel that way as an LGBTQ person. Like, I'm like, whenever I put on an event, I'm like, let's bring everyone together. We are more powerful being in this together than saying, oh, the gay women over here and the people of color women over here and the white women over here. I mean, that's not serving anybody.
Yeah.
We are so much more powerful when we come together and support each other, right? Mm-hmm. So I totally agree with that ideology.
And so that's sort of our point of the summit, is for people to realize that we're stronger together, and that we are all fighting the same fight.
Right.
And we're expanding our membership, our community, into a membership website. That's the next phase of the Passionistas project. So there'll be more of a centralized platform rather than going on Facebook and getting lost in the, noise of everybody else's stuff.
Right. So you're building a platform where everybody meets there instead of on social media.
Exactly.
And people are getting away from that anyway, from what I understand. So that'll be great. And then they can collaborate in there with whatever they need, either to let people know what they do or to, you're looking for someone who needs to do Reiki, you find them in the community. You need someone to produce your commercial, you find them there too.
Exactly. Yeah, our goal, and we've already started this, is to build a microeconomy of Passionistas buying from Passionistas. If you need to buy something, come to the Passionistas Project website first, go to our directory and make sure you can't get it there before you go to Amazon.
Right. Because a lot of times people will say, oh, I want to buy insurance, or I want to create a commercial, or I want to do a website, and I want to find a woman. Mm-hmm. And they'll, sometimes say, oh, I don't know a woman that does that. And so it's great to have a directory of in a trusted community. Yeah.
And most of the women in our directory right now, either we've worked with directly or know people that have, so you have that extra level of confidence in the services or the product.
Love it. And then one last thing on your website I loved was your bucket list. I love that. Everybody should have that. Maybe some people do, but I don't know that everybody writes it down. So there you can go to their website and you see their bucket list, and then you can see which ones you've accomplished and and some of them are like not a huge thing. Like, it's easy to go, have dinner at Spago or whatever, Like, I love that you didn't make them like, oh, you have to jump out of an airplane.
Oh, no, we're not jump out of airplane people. That's never going to be on our bucket list.
But it's so fun. It was fun to see what your list was, what you've done, what you haven't done yet. What's going to be the next one on there, do you think?
Oh, boy. I don't know what the next one will be.
I think it might be go to New York City and see an opera starring 3 women.
Co-produced by our friends.
Sounds good to me. So how do people find you all?
Passionistasproject.com has all links out to all of our social media. Okay. It has a contact. You can sign up for our email list, so you'll get constant reminders of where we're going next. We have our monthly radio tour of our podcast episodes that are going live, our appearances on other people's shows, things like that.
Fun.
So you'll get those.
What a great idea.
We'll get those blasts. Exactly. You'll hear about this. You'll get those email blasts from us. You'll know what we're up to. And most importantly, you'll also get updates on the women in our community, because the biggest feature that we do is spotlight the women in the Passionistas community. So you'll constantly be learning about other amazing women who are doing incredible things for them, product-wise, community-wise, services that they offer. So that's the best way to stay in touch. Sign up for our mailing list.
Super fun. And I can tell anything I'd be doing with you all, especially a big summit, would be fun.
Yes,
absolutely. And you'll make a lot of we've made so many lifelong friends in the Passionistas community, and they're friends now. It's really, we're proud mamas. We get to stand back and watch all the women love on each other. So
I love it.
It's great.
I love it. And you're both on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Amy and Nancy Harrington, you can find them on LinkedIn and visit the PassionistasProject.com. right?
That's perfect.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to check out thepassionistasproject.com. Amy and Nancy Harrington, thank you for being on. And of course, check us out at sheangelinvestors.com. And of course, we are on social media, She Angel Investors. And you can find me, Catherine Gray, Invest in Her, on Instagram as well. Of course, we just mentioned early in the show that we have a movie coming out called Show Her the Money, and you can follow us on Instagram to find out what's happening with that. That is Show Her the Money Movie on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make it a great week. Remember to invest in other women and to join the passionistasproject.com community for their exciting podcasts and events and their welcome packets. That's how you can support women founders. Make it a great day, everybody. Remember to invest in her. Thanks, ladies.
Remember, if you're looking to launch a business or grow your business, check out our e-course, 6 Ways to Fund Your Business, available at She Angel Investors.